Welcome back to another episode of Wasted Local Fantasy Football.
You remembered.
I did this time, surprisingly. I'm Daniel.
I'm Josiah.
And today we have the crybaby bitch.
Sorry.
Special guest.
We were trying to get
a few
Josh
times.
and Michael on, but Josh is supposedly still working. But I bet if we went across the street, he's playing Destiny. So, yeah.
Suck it, Josh.
So, yeah. It was a fun week of football.
We have Michael, by the way.
Yeah, Michael's here.
I'm here.
If you couldn't tell by the whining,
Hey, listen.
we've had to deal with it all year.
That is not true. I've said the least out of everyone.
Yeah,
It's-
but every time you say something, it's brutal.
Other than when he called me Belichick. I didn't like that.
You're still on my phone as Billy Belichick. I need to change it, though, because you are like the Cowboys, so you have so much potential, you just can't do shit with it.
Big true. I won't argue that.
Michael Gallup Bonner.
Just call him the lone Cowboy.
I have stuff to say on that, but I was proud of his performance this week.
Who, Gallup?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
regardless of.
I'm always proud of Gallup's performance. I'm not
Well-
proud of Garrett's performance.
We'll get into his stuff later, though.
Duck Hodges, though. Quack, quack.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, we only all said he should have been playing since they benched
Since
him.
they benched him.
I think the Steelers should probably listen to our podcast because if they did,
Duck does.
I
They gave him
guarantee,
confidence. Gave him
guarantee.
fucking confidence.
Duck, I know you're listening. I might pick you up off waivers this week just because
Because Russell
I'm not
Wilson
gonna
isn't
start
doing
you.
shit.
he isn't.
That also scares me. As a 49ers fan, having to face the Seahawks coming up.
Again.
Having to face the Seahawks.
Wait.
Let me start over. Having to face Baltimore,
Yes.
which there's probably like a good 75% chance that we'll lose that game because the offense is pretty unstoppable. That's going to push us down to 10-2, and Seahawks have a relatively easy game coming up. Well, no, actually they don't. They play Minnesota, so it's an all-out battle between Minnesota. So, but that's the thing. If Seahawks win and we lose, they go ahead of us because that's the only other loss that 49ers have had is to the Seahawks.
It's hard to say what's going to happen because, the 49ers took out, they just destroyed the Packers, but Aaron Rodgers isn't mobile. They destroyed the Patriots, but Tom Brady isn't mobile. They barely won against Kyler Murray twice. And
Division game.
he's a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if they can scheme something up.
Well,
But
enough
we'll
about
talk-
real football.
But yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Let's get into this week's recaps. And we'll start at the top as usual. Unsolicited DAC picks Josiah narrowly beat me, Hover Around Genocide, 130.9 to 126.2 due to an absolute thumping of the Rams, leaving the Ravens no choice but to bench Lamar Jackson in the fourth quarter. Saved by the bench, Josiah. Saved by the bench.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I got
Yeah.
the victory because I scored 130.9 points, which is good. I also had Jarvis Landry on my bench, who scored
Who would have put you at
31.8 points.
170 points?
Now, I told you this, but my philosophy behind benching a guy that is going against the Dolphins is I had Zach Ertz and Miles Sanders both on the same team, and Nick Chubb and Jarvis Landry, who are also both on the same team. And I don't know, it just didn't feel right starting so many people. It's not that far-fetched that the Eagles and Browns both come out and suck. So I tried to, I put Cortland Sutton in, got it right this time. Cortland Sutton
about
instead
time.
of Jarvis Landry, even though Cortland Sutton only got 3.2 points.
Took you 12 episodes.
That's
Sorry.
why I did it, just because I feel like, I don't know. I didn't like the way it looked to have so many Browns on my starting roster, just because you can't trust the Browns.
It's a legitimate concern.
So
But it was the Dolphins.
Jarvis Landry, I have looked ahead, and he has some favorable matchups going into the playoffs. So, he might be getting some starts, and
It's also the Browns, though, so
I-
it's still kind of sketchy.
he's still getting double figures every week, which is great. And that was low-key the best part of my trade with Michael, because I got DeAndre Hopkins from him, and also Jarvis Landry, who may have just sneaked his way into my starting roster because Adam Thielen just has not played at all.
Well, yeah, he had a bye week. No wonder.
No, he hasn't played for like 4 or 5 weeks.
No.
Is he
been
coming
hurt.
back this week?
Probably.
He's questionable.
He's healthy. I'm sure he'll be back. It's a big game.
How do you feel about your performance?
I mean, there's some points on my bench, but, Robert Woods against Baltimore, I wasn't. All of his points came in garbage time. So, he only had about, I think, 5, maybe 6 points before the middle of the fourth quarter. So it wouldn't have really done anything for me until the very end of the game if I would have started him. And then Ronald Jones I picked up because two people went and swiped both the running backs that I was going to pick up last week. And he was,
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, fuck both of you. And Philip Lindsay, I started him over Ronald Jones because, one, I haven't paid attention to Ronald Jones. And Atlanta's defense had been doing pretty well. So I didn't want to start him against that defense. And Philip Lindsay was going against the, I think, 22nd ranked rush defense in the league. So I was like, he can give me 10 points.
Yeah.
But,
Now, that second running back spot is definitely your weakest point.
Yeah.
I think.
I benched Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
So I didn't get his big fat 0. And I went back and forth with him and Metcalf. And I was like, I just felt like Metcalf against Philly. I thought Metcalf would have a bigger game, but Philly's defense.
Dude, he had some that hit him in the hands,
Yeah.
and he just didn't pull him down. And that kind of sucks. That second receiver position, I had DeAndre Hopkins go off, but
Cortland Sutton
didn't do it for me. I need to play the right person in the receiver position. I scored more points than anybody this week, but with Jarvis Landry getting 31 points and Latavius Murray getting 12 points, I've got to be more clairvoyant when it comes to that.
Made the right call on defense too, unlike last week or the last. Yeah, but I wouldn't have seen Carolina coming back in that game at all, honestly. But
I saw it just because McCaffrey's a monster.
Yeah.
And you can't stop him at all. The Saints defense, especially after what the Falcons did to them last week. So I feel kind of good about that. You, on the other hand, out of the, 6 teams in playoff contention, would have lost to at least 3 of them. You lost to Josh, me, and yourself.
Both have lost to 2 people in the entire league this
I'm just
week.
saying.
So, yeah.
It's something to be concerned about.
Yeah, but Amari Cooper doesn't play, New England every week, so that's not a concern of mine.
Ronald Jones is a good pickup, though. So
Yeah.
that's something, like I said, I'm going to have to make the right play, because if you play Ronald Jones or Amari Cooper comes back and takes DJ Chark's 8.3 points and turns it to 18 points, then you win.
Yeah, I'm really upset about
Especially
Chark's
with
performance.
Russell Wilson getting me 9.5 points. He was doing great, but their running game and defense is kind of what they're building around right now. He only had 200 yards passing, but they won 17-9. They didn't need him to do that. So I'm a wee bit concerned about that because I need him to score at least 15.
Yep. All of the hype about him being MVP, like, I get it at the beginning of the year, but it's slowly declining. And then after watching Lamar Jackson just put a pounding on the Rams, it's like, it's almost a no-brainer of who it's going to be.
Yeah, I know. McCaffrey.
If Russell Wilson gets, to the NFC Championship and just destroys people in the playoffs, he might. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Michael, what do you think about our game?
I don't care.
Okay, next game.
All right, on to the next one. The Wrath of Quan. Nathan would have lost to pretty much everyone else in the league, but ended up squirting by Bald Bear Fighter. I said squirt. I forgot I put that in there.
Goodness.
87.3 to 62.4, ending Jed's hopes of a playoff spot. Thank God. Fuck you, Jed.
Praise the Lord. So
Now I can just sit back and cruise into the playoffs and not have to worry about Jed being there and beating me again for like the 3rd year in a row.
and Jed has beaten me twice this year. So so far he is the only person that I think I've lost to. Did I lose to someone else? No, I did definitely lost to someone else, but I
You
lost to Nathan.
Yeah. Me and you have both lost to Nathan, and I've lost to you twice. You lost to Jed twice.
Yeah, so it's good to have that monkey off my back. And Jed had his first and second round pick in a bye in the worst possible time possible ever in existence.
I mean, Jimmy G still got him 18 points, but
Must be nice.
the rest of his team, nobody scored over 10 points.
Vance McDonald got him 0.6 points.
Aaron Jones got him 3.8. Carlos Hyde 6.7.
Aaron Jones getting 3.8 points.
San Francisco's
Unheard of.
defense. It's not unheard of now.
Yeah, I heard of it just a second ago.
Need him to step that up next week.
Yeah.
Greg Zuerlein was, other than Garoppolo and Marvin Jones and Darius Slayton, he was the highest scorer on
Well,
the
Jed
team.
had to go get a whole new team. Like, it wasn't just
Yeah.
those two. He has, like, a whole new lineup.
Yeah, it's because he drafted and didn't pay attention to bye weeks, and his pickups didn't pay attention to bye weeks. So if you look at his bench, he's got Mahomes, Kelsey, Kenyon Drake, Christian Kirk, and Kirk Cousins all on his bench, all on bye weeks. Whenever he needed something. I mean, that lost him.
Yeah.
I mean, if he would have done it like a little bit differently. Of course, you don't expect Aaron Jones to go out and only get 3.8 points, even against San Francisco. You thought maybe 10, but they just shut him down.
I think what really lost Jed out was when he lost to you when he scored 140 points. So he would still be mathematically in it if it weren't for, I think he scored a high number another week and lost as well. So, but that 1 week where he scored more than everybody but you.
Or the last play of the last game of the week.
Exactly.
My defense scored a touchdown to win the game.
That's the one I'm talking about.
It was so good.
If that doesn't happen, he can afford this dud, but with that bad luck, he can't.
Yep, he's out. There's no way for him to make the playoffs.
Nathan, on the other hand, is in the playoffs and has had some questionable performances with 87.3 points, but he's constantly getting these lucky wins. So that's why he's got no concern as far as being knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean he's in the playoffs. There's no way for him to not be in the playoffs, but I would be very worried if I were him because his team has the potential to put up 150 points, but
Saquon Barkley getting 7, Mike Evans getting 7. Odell Beckham Jr. finally showed up. His defense got -1. Oakland's defense.
Who would have thought against the Jets 34-3?
That was funny.
That was pretty funny.
Baker Mayfield outscored Josh Allen. But I'm looking at his bench, and they're all single digits except for Baker Mayfield and Seattle's defense. He's got, everyone on his team scored single digits except for Devin Singletary, Odell Beckham Jr., his 2 quarterbacks, and his backup defense.
Yep. And
So-
Will Lutz.
Well, yes, just because.
It's Will Lutz, though.
Yeah.
All right. Yep,
Mike-
Nathan beat Jed, and we might get him a trophy just for knocking him out of the playoffs.
Yeah, he's basically the New York Giants right now, beating the Patriots. Thank you, Eli Bonner.
It's kind of tough with having Evans only getting 7 points because it's just such a toss up between who's going to get those touchdowns.
Chris Godwin.
I know,
oh my
but
gosh.
Went nuts.
Yeah, but I mean, next week it could be Evans getting those 40 points and Godwin getting 5. Like it's just, but they're both just so good that it's scary. So I mean, you going into the playoffs, that could easily add 20, 25 points to that score. That could easily push him right back up to what he would need to be winning.
Oh, yeah.
And a defense isn't going to get him -1 every week, so you add 6 points to that, and then you add 4 or 5 points to Saquon Barkley's performance, and then he's easily back up in the 120, 130 range.
Yeah, and he can do that any given week, but then he can also do this any given week.
Yeah.
Trust me, no one knows more than me.
So I think he is the sleeper in the playoffs right now because I put up 120 points every week, no matter what. You have kind of come into your own because you were up and down a lot early, but you're hitting at least 115, 120, 130 every week. Nathan, if he has 2 good weeks, can beat both of us. But So it depends on his team, though.
It really depends on the matchups. I'm excited to see what happens, and I don't know if I want to play Nathan first in the playoffs, or if I want to play whoever gets in between Michael and Josh. Or
I'll play whoever and beat them.
Yeah.
Next game.
All right. On to the next one. Michael, I'll let you take the lead on this one after I say what I'm going to say. The chosen one, Michael, was saved by Lamar Jackson and the -5 points the Rams defense put up, and defeated Team Hairless 106.9 to 97.4, ending Jess's playoff hopes. Bye, Jess. We buried you in the beginning.
It makes me feel good that in 1 week both Fleshers fall so hard, so fast.
Like what you said in the chat earlier, it also makes me happy that trophy will no longer be in the Flesher household.
Household?
Household.
No, it's like you could say their fleshlight went out.
Oh, no.
You're going to have to get more Harry Potter stuff to put in place of where the trophy's at next to their TV.
I was so confident in this win going into probably at 6 o'clock that evening. I was just so confident. The 4:30 games went into halftime. Derrick Henry had her like 4 points. I was like, yes. I legitimately had my phone down for like 20 minutes, picked it back up, and Derrick Henry had scored 2 touchdowns and ran for like over 100 yards within like 20 minutes.
He scored
He
2
went
touchdowns
nuts.
within 17 seconds or something stupid like that.
It was ridiculous.
One of them was a 74-yard run, and the next one was like a turnover, and then they handed it right back to him. And
he scored again. Exactly.
Yeah, but that's Derrick Henry. He'll have 5 points 4 games in a row, and then he'll have like 40 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So, but my saving grace here was Kittle.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
That one touchdown that he had.
Yeah, the only touchdown that he had, and it was it was about a 65-yard just random pass. He was just wide open in the middle of the outfield. Outfield. This isn't baseball. I hate baseball.
Good job, Michael.
You know what? I'm not on here as much as you guys are. Suck it. Cooper Kupp did not do really anything, but no one in that game did anything.
That was bad.
So
the funny thing is that coming into the game before the game, it was what? Let's see, 102.4 to 100.4. So you needed 2 points, and then obviously whenever the defense comes on the field,
You get 10
You
points
get 10
right off the bat.
points.
So you needed 12 points technically if the Rams were able to stop.
Yeah.
See, that isn't what worried me though. I wasn't worried during the game because I knew that it was going to end up like that, and I told everyone in the chat and everything that they were going to go negative, and I knew that was going to happen, just because Baltimore's been unstoppable. However, I'll give my credit to 2 things on my win this week: the Kittle touchdown. I'm glad he's back, and the Williams pickup.
Jonathan
Sniped
Williams.
him right out from underneath Daniel's nose.
I tried to
can't-
pick him up as well.
Yeah. You got Hines
Yes.
and you got Williams, and I tried to get both of them and didn't get either of them.
What a pickup!
I don't know why
19
you didn't get
points.
Hines, because I had Williams first, and then you obviously had Williams first, and then I had Hines third. So I don't know
I
why.
had other people too. I didn't get. I had like 3 or 4 people that I was trying to pick up.
You gotta
and I
set your
didn't get-
waivers in order.
No, I did, and
Oh.
I didn't think Williams was going to be the featured back there. I thought Hines would be. That's why he was first, and
Oh,
then
okay.
Williams was later. So,
Another-
but you know,
Another thing on this one contributing to my win, San Francisco, my favorite team, really coming through for me. Just putting Green Bay in the dirt with leaving their kicker with 0
0
points.
That was great.
that
It
and
was fantastic.
Jeff Driscoll.
Throwing 3 interceptions.
Came out last week against Dallas, put up almost 30 points. Came out this week. Everybody's like, pick him up. He's going to be great against Washington. Guess what?
He started strong though. He really did. He went into the halftime with 15 points and ended the game with 12.
How's about Dwayne Haskins missing the final snap of his
Oh my
first
gosh.
victory because he was taking a selfie with the fans? It's hilarious.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
They went out onto the field to take the victory kneel, and they looked around. They're like, "Where's Dwayne Haskins?"
They had to put Case Keenum in there.
They
to
put
take
Case
the kneel.
Keenum in to take the kneel down. I, as a coach, I don't even know. I would flip my lid. Someone
Yeah,
taking a
absolutely.
selfie in the crowd. I mean, I can understand.
It's not college
It's
football.
not over
But
till
this
it's
is,
over.
oh my gosh, that makes me so mad. Driscoll was the right play for her with Matt Stafford out and Kyler Murray on a bye. She just got kind of unlucky on that.
Everyone would have played Driscoll. He had 2 30-point games.
Josh
back.
Jacobs with 4.1 points. Big hurt. Tyler Eifert, she's really had tight end struggles all year. The -5 on defense really hurt. She had great games from Michael Thomas and Allen Robinson, both over 20 points. But the difference
Derrick Henry.
was definitely if Michael does not get Jonathan Williams off waivers and you or I get him instead, he's starting Bo Scarborough, who got 7.8, or Tariq Cohen, who got 8.9, and he loses.
Yep.
So clutch pickup. And
That
like I
was
said
a
last week,
minute play for me too, deciding to play Hunt over Scarborough, which was a 4-point differential.
Oh,
so
yeah?
that was a big difference too.
but
So.
that's just another. I mentioned last week where there's a lot of injuries. Marlon Mack and Michael did his research. We all did our research in this room, but Michael kind of got lucky because he's lower on the waiver wire. But there's people lower on the waiver wire than you that could have also made that play. So research won Michael this game.
All right, enough about this game.
Next game.
All right. Next, Team King Dingus wiped his ass with the turd that is VH Chalupa Batman, which seems counterproductive. 130.6 to 109.6, keeping his playoff run alive and forever proving that having an Android is possibly the worst life decision a person could make.
It's
Listen,
true.
I looked at this game. There's no reason why Bruce shouldn't have won this game. Like, this should have been Bruce's game, but Dak Prescott getting him 7 points, Montgomery getting him 4 points. Everyone else had a decent game. You obviously can't count on Julio Jones only getting 9 points. If everyone had performed even average, Bruce would have won this game.
He really should have not just been like, oh, it's Dak Prescott. He's been doing well for me and played a matchup. Like Amari Cooper on my team, he's been doing really well for me. He was on my bench because of the matchup. Like, just because you have a top scorer, unless it's McCaffrey, it doesn't matter who the fuck McCaffrey's playing, he's going to get you points. But if you've got a top scoring player, if they're playing the best defense out there, then maybe grab somebody else,
Yeah.
And that's really, I mean, it could have, if he would have gone out and grabbed a quarterback that got him 20 points, and it would have been a lot closer. He still wouldn't have won, but
The scary thing about Josh's team is he had some really bad performances. Aaron Rodgers got him 9.5 points. Todd Gurley got him 3.4 points. But Mark Ingram went nuts. Chris Godwin went nuts. DJ Moore
DJ
went
Moore
nuts.
had the highest point. You couldn't have anticipated that. He got double his highest points this season, actually.
But even Jameis Winston on his bench outscored Aaron Rodgers by 15. Cole Beasley got 16.6, and Tyler Boyd also got 16.6. So
Cole Beasley's sneaky because he's
They
actually
are.
in the last, and I have it up here. In the last 6 games, he scored touchdowns in 4 of them.
yeah.
He's becoming a more viable target in the Bills' offense.
But if Josh starts his optimum lineup, he might hit 170. I'm not doing the math right now, but that's just going to beat the crap out of everybody in the playoffs. And he's in the playoffs right now because
but here's the thing, though.
yeah.
We talked about this already. Chris Godwin can't be trusted
Well,
because
yeah.
Mike Evans very easily could get him all the next week. David Johnson can't be trusted. Baltimore's defense also can't be trusted to pull 12 points every week.
That's
sure
true.
a good 6 or 7 maybe. And then obviously Matt Prater. 10 feels like a low week for Matt Prater, honestly. So
I mean, he did miss a field goal, so
but Aaron Rodgers also, as a whole, not been a great fantasy quarterback.
well,
Trust me, I
it's-
know about not great fantasy quarterbacks.
he's stuck in the position where do you play Aaron Rodgers or do you play Jameis Winston, who is Aaron Rodgers is going to get you 10 points. Even if he has a bad week, he got him 10 points, round up 9.5. But Jameis Winston's either going to get you -4 or 24. So
and they were playing against that surging Atlanta defense.
Exactly.
That
he
really
shut down Drew Brees.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jameis Winston feels like the right call. Jameis Winston this season is averaging 18.3 points a game, while Aaron Rodgers is only averaging slow ESPN app pending. Yeah, this sucks.
I feel no.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree
this
with you.
app
Jameis
blows.
Winston's only had one game under 10 points, and that was the first game of the year against San Francisco.
I'm just saying,
17.9.
if he comes out and scores 130.6 points next week, have you ever scored that many points?
Shut up.
No, I'm just saying. He beats. I beat him. I would have beat him this week by.
This is my week. All right, we'll get to that later.
Well, I'm just saying. I would have beat him by 0.3 points this week. He outscored everybody else, and that was without his optimal lineup. So if he scores 170 next week, he's going to smack you, and then he's going to smack me in the first round of playoffs, and then same thing to Daniel or Nathan or whoever he goes on to face. So Josh's team is looking scary right
I'm
now.
not giving the trophy to someone who can't make time for this show.
Oh man. I mean, Josh.
Don't worry, he's not going to hear it.
I bet your KDR is great.
Probably isn't. He just talks about how good it is.
Yeah.
Brown sugar cinnamon's the best Pop-Tart. You take
No.
Yeah.
Shut up.
You can
That's
take
wrong. That's
your
false.
blueberry or strawberry or whatever
Blueberry
you can,
Elite Pop-Tart.
throw it in the river.
So after we get to
still
the
eat it.
last game, that's this week's category is everybody as a flavor of Pop-Tart.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
ready.
Right.
I'm ready.
Okay,
I
so
can
the
be
final
part of this.
game, I'm more excited about what flavor Pop-Tart I am than this last game. Mine Flavor Bonner knocked Injured Reserve almost completely out of the consolation bracket.
There's more to care about in this game between these two than there was about some of the other games this week, though.
I mean, just the fact that I don't think Roger can make the consolation bracket now. He's got to play against me next
That's
week.
what I mean. I mean, that's her winning this. Brittany winning this game put her in running for that spot.
Yeah.
And that's important because I think Brittany learned a valuable lesson from the draft this year is
Don't pick Juju Smith-Schuster first.
don't pick. You need to pick an elite tier player.
Yeah,
Juju
yeah.
Smith-Schuster is good.
It was a risk.
It
didn't- yeah.
way bigger of a risk than you can afford to take in your first round.
I agree. Now,
So-
I think Juju was a second round pick,
Yeah, he would-
which was
he would
still
have gone
high.
second.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I probably would have taken him in the second round, but that's when I make my first round pick, especially my first round pick, I would rather take someone that is kind of safe, I guess. I would rather have someone that will score me 15 points every week than someone that could potentially score me 40 points one week, but then complete dud the next week. That's why I stay away from quarterbacks in the first round.
Jed?
That's why I don't like taking receivers in the first round. But where she was, all the running backs were gone. So I don't know which receiver she could have taken. I think she took Juju before DeAndre Hopkins. I would have to look that up.
No,
Yeah.
because Roger took DeAndre Hopkins.
That's true.
First.
That is true.
Oh, really?
So, but as far as a receiver in the first round goes, Juju, like I said, you can't predict Roethlisberger going out.
Oh, for sure.
And that can make a huge difference.
My point in saying that is she now is understanding the importance of that first round draft pick.
Yeah.
And now she has something to fight for. Do I think she'll win? Probably not, because it's a tough matchup. Jed was putting up 130, 140 point games.
Yeah.
So
Well, just look at the league. Nathan had first pick. I had second pick. Josiah had third pick. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
You had fourth pick. So you.
suck it, Josh. Coming for you.
so I mean, each of us have had a constant on our team. Maybe Nathan's first round draft pick has not really played out to
No, you're
his
right.
potential. And
I
honestly,
traded mine
like
away in week 2.
Kamara has not been great.
No, but the
he
fact
has
that-
not been as astronomically poor of a fantasy player as Juju has.
But the fact that you got Kamara and then you get to you're more involved with Kamara and what's going on with him, so like, okay, I'm going to take his backup because Kamara's not been doing too well, and
Yeah.
that's proven really well for you.
Yeah. So
So-
that was my insurance policy, and he even scored double digits this week. So he might be a flex play going forward because they're using him a lot. They use everybody in that offense. And then Michael took his pick of Todd Gurley and turned that into Ezekiel Elliott. So if Elliott was not holding out at that point, that's 100% who he would have taken. That's probably who you would have taken. And then I would have taken McCaffrey. You may have taken Kamara, but it didn't shake out that way. You kind of lucked out that Elliott was
Well, I don't
holding
think that
out.
I would have taken Elliott first overall. Not
second?
the second pick.
You
I don't
sure?
think, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
Because even with him holding out at that point, he was still like number 4 or number 5 like overall, and
Everyone knew he'd be
months
back.
before that, before he even started holding out, whenever I was going over everything, and I was like, it's Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, a top three. Like Elliott was like number 4, number 5, but right there, and that's what I was looking at, and I made the right choice.
You did.
So-
You got the MVP.
The
So-
fantasy, I think he's put up plenty. For
He's-
me.
I
He's
said
done
in
pretty
the
well.
beginning, I wouldn't have cared what the lineup was like. He could have been 5th in the pick. I would have taken McCaffrey round 1, first pick.
I think I
every
would have
time.
too. I don't know what I'm going to do next season because, of course, how many...
Even if you lose the playoffs, you will not be anywhere near the top for picks.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying as far as first overall pick goes, the Giants might take an offensive lineman in their their top 5 picks. So they might...
Yep, Saquon Barkley's
Yeah.
worth could go from 20th running back to first again.
Yeah.
Like, easily.
So
it's hard to tell. Like, I mean,
it's hard to predict as of right now.
Look at Dalvin Cook though. Like I got him in like I think I got him in the 3rd or the 4th round.
You got him. I took Chubb,
Great pickup.
and you got him in the swing back and forth between
Chubb also a great
second
pick.
and third. Yeah.
and Lamar Jackson. I picked up Matt Ryan, and then like the next round or the round after, I got Lamar Jackson. So it's year to year, you can't.
Yeah.
I love
You
how their
can't
game was
predict.
so inconsequential that we're just talking about the draft.
Oh, no, well,
Exactly.
it's kind of with everybody. This is like their official burial. You and Josh are the only ones left standing. Daniel, Nathan, and I are all locks in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I think it's okay to emphasize the draft because
No, I just like
Because it plays
like
a
I
big
said,
part into,
Lamar Jackson was a risk because this is his
but
second
not
season.
not that late. And I picked him up late. I picked him up in like the 8th
well,
round
and
or
he's
something
not a
like
risk
that.
with when you already have Matt Ryan.
Yeah, so I was like, all
Kyler
the
Murray
other-
was a risk for Jess, and he almost led her back to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Jacobs was a risk for her. He almost led her to the playoffs. He had a bad week.
Yeah, I
but-
think Roger learned a lot this year too for fantasy because obviously his team was injury ridden, and that's what really hurt
He
him.
made some great moves, though.
He did, absolutely. So, I mean, I think that this has also been a learning point for him as well. Also, he's going to be high in the draft pick next year. He finished last, right? He finished, is it Bruce?
Bruce is last
Bruce
right
is
now.
last.
So, Bruce will go in. He will slide in at number 2 pick.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
So-
'Cause there's still-
they play each other
Yeah,
in
and
the
there's-
consolation of the consolation.
But the thing is that Roger is 4-8, and if he beats me next week, and then one of the other 5 and 7 teams loses, it's based on points. He could be pushed up and won't play the bottom of the bottom.
That's true.
So that's why he's almost out of that consolation. Bruce is definitely out of the consolation. He's only got 3 wins, but he's the only one. Everybody else that's at 5 and 7 right now can still, and Roger can still make that consolation, because if he beats me next week and then one of the other 5 and 7s loses, if he's got more points than them, he could be up there. So
Speaking of
there's a chance.
next year, of course, everybody listening to this podcast, so I guess not Josh, but I'm thinking of ideas like an injury reserve spot on the roster.
Please.
Maybe implementing that. These are just ideas throwing out. And then the waiver wire, you can set it to where it rotates, and it's not based off of Daniel's the number 1 team. He gets the last pick. So it would just be, he would get the last pick this week. He would get the 9th pick the next week, the 8th pick the week after that. And it rolls like that. So in a week where he might want Jonathan Williams because Marlon Mack got hurt, he might have a better chance of getting him. So I think that's something that we should at least talk about.
Yeah,
But,
I think it should be a snake.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but
deal.
that's
just because it sucks if you're at the top. It's like, you're not going to get any of the players that you want, because if everybody's out there and they know that you need somebody because one of your running backs goes down, then everybody's going to go get him whether or not they need him or not, just to keep you from getting him. But if it's a snake, instead of being last every week, if I'm in first, there's a potential I could be 2nd or 4th or 5th, and it'll.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but half
As
the
league
people,
commissioner.
half the people in this league right now are thinking, I need to make the draft work next year. So I think it's good we emphasize that. My winner of this week
Oh,
is
we're not doing Pop-Tarts first?
no. Let's pick a winner and then we'll talk about the losers. You know what I mean? Because the rest of everyone in this league is a loser.
True, that's fine. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So my winner of this week is Michael, because
I think it's the first time I've gotten one of those.
no, you needed to win. You got lucky. but you won. And
W's a W.
And you've done that all year. And in doing so, you go up against Josh next week. Josh would have been my winner, but 1, he didn't come on the episode tonight. 2, he had a lot of points on his bench. And if Mike Evans gets those catches instead of Chris Godwin, and DJ Moore doesn't double his points, and Mark Ingram doesn't just absolutely crush if the Ravens don't crush the Rams defense, then he's not scoring 130 points, and he's made some bad decisions, and he might be out of contention. So
I'm counting on him riding high on Ingram
this
coming week, because I think that could be huge, because they have already 49ers have already proven that they do not allow Aaron Jones 3 points.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, doing
The
great.
Ravens
Aaron
run the
Rodgers.
ball completely different than the Packers, though.
It's true.
I don't know if you watched the game last night. They run it like it's like he took off 40 yards back and is running at full speed as soon as he hits that line. It's brutal how he runs the ball.
What's his face? Mark Ingram's over half of his points were passes, not runs.
Yeah, he did.
So,
But that's a big part of their
And
game.
he also has Stephon Diggs on his bench, which if he wasn't on a bye this week, then he might start him over Moore, which
true.
is true, and he doesn't get that big game from him. So
guess we'll see.
I trust your bench didn't do much. I trust your managerial decisions more than Josh's. I mean, Josh might still get lucky and win, but that's why you're my winner of the week. My loser of the week is the Flesher household. I'm going to pick Tater because
Poor guy.
they are going to go home and just probably take out their anger on that poor dog. And that's the
No,
only dog
it's
that
Wilbur.
I actually know.
That's definitely Wilbur.
I was going to say, I picked
Fuck
Tater
that
because
dog.
that's the only dog's name that I know. So, Wilbur, you're my loser of this week because they're probably going to forget to feed you. They're going to leave you out in the cold. I'm just kidding. If you're listening to this podcast, whoever takes care of the animals, what's that organization? Okay, Josh.
True.
Josh, if you're listening to this podcast, he's not. Brown sugar cinnamon are better. Go ahead.
I've got 3 winners and 3 losers.
Oh, man.
Michael and Josh, winners, because they needed these wins
Yeah.
to keep themselves in the playoff contention. Nathan is also up there in the winner because he took Jed out, and in my heart, he's a winner. So, took Jed out of the playoff spot. Okay, losers, same as you, Jed, Jess, and Roger. Roger, well, it's because he lost, and he loses. If he loses next week, he's not going to make the consolation bracket.
Even if he wins next week, he might still not make the consolation bracket.
So he needed that win because he was talking big, like I'm on a roll. I'm gonna get to that consolation bracket. I'm gonna win it.
LOL.
And he's not really on that roll anymore. So, and for obvious reasons, Jed and Jess were both really close, and they both lost. That's what happens, Jed, whenever you're trying to run 2 teams at once. So,
Ouch.
better luck next year. I beat you twice this year, and I don't care if I win, and that makes me happy that you're not in the playoffs. All right, Michael.
My winner is Jed.
Wait, I have an announcement. I'm sorry. Josh just texted us and said, I'm probably not coming. Okay, thanks, Josh.
Yeah, I had already texted him back. It's like we've been recording for over 30 minutes, so.
Go ahead. Proceed.
My winner is Jed because he didn't win, and he's a winner in my heart because I hate him and I like seeing him not win.
Suck it, Jed.
My loser is also Jed because have you seen him? He's bald and blind and almost just physically and mentally handicapped in every way before the age of 29.
It's a shame.
Also Jess because she married that idiot. Can't wait to get the trophy back.
You, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to get it, and we're actually going to update the plaques on that thing.
Yeah, speaking of which, we need to do
the only
that.
reason I haven't updated the plaques on it is because I have no idea where to go to do it.
I thought that website did it still, and they're like
I have messaged
$2.
them like 4 times, and they've never messaged me back.
If you're
There's
out
got to
there,
be a trophy. There's a trophy place around here, and I'm sure that they can get because there's
one in
plaques.
Bridgeport.
There's plaques on it, isn't there?
Yes.
And they just take them off
need
and
to
they
take
just engrave
off
them.
Yep.
So if you just find a place that does engravings,
this is a local talent podcast. If you know of a place out there that can engrave, hit us up.
Yeah.
Let us know, and you know what? We'll plug you on the show.
Yeah.
Hey.
There you go.
I will plug you on the show.
Great. Now they're not going to get a hold of it. All right, so
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts. Jed is definitely the ones that don't have anything on them.
No icing.
No icing, nothing, because look at him.
Yeah.
He's fucking useless. Who eats those? He's not even as good as a fucking toaster strudel,
He's
like
a
where you can
cold
put your own
one.
icing on it. No, he's just a plain fucking.
Toaster strudels do not
He's not
ever
even
compare Jed to something as amazing.
No,
as
I'm
a
saying he's
toaster
not even
strudel.
that. Jed is the off-brand fucking dollar store frostingless Pop-Tart.
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free frostingless Pop-Tart. Actually, no, probably not, because typically the gluten-free stuff is better.
Huh.
They're just
Big
more
true.
expensive. So yeah, he's the Pop-Tart.
And you kind of like dropped it on the ground and it's got a little bit of dirt on it. You know,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
All right. I am going to make Brittany the brown sugar cinnamon because she's the best. I know. I don't understand why you hate Brittany, but
Those Pop-Tarts are the worst.
you don't like brown sugar cinnamon.
No.
They're the best.
No, they're not.
They're not the best.
They're absolutely not the best.
You guys are weird.
Josh is the family pack. Because he's literally like eaten so many Pop-Tarts that he is just all of the flavors combined.
You know what Roger is? Roger is the kind of Pop-Tart where it's like a seasonal Pop-Tart and you're like, you know what? I'm going to try that pumpkin Pop-Tart. And you pick it up and you take a bite and you're like, oh my gosh, why did I get this pumpkin Pop-Tart? It's terrible.
And they sit in your
and they
your
just sit there
cabinet
in the cabinet
and
and,
just
they're
Until you
stay
invite
out.
worth
Josh over.
until you're too drunk and you're like, I want to try one of these Pop-Tarts. You bite into it and there's just spiders or
It's-
something.
Yeah.
Josh is actually, in my opinion, Josh is the box of Pop-Tarts that you buy at Walmart and then you get it home and you open it up and it's completely empty
Oh yeah, it's got like
because he
one's
has no
missing.
substance.
Just like his Coke flavor.
I mean, everyone on the show doesn't even know he exists. Listener,
Yeah.
Josh might not exist.
It's
Trust
true.
me, I
He's
wish
just
I had
made
that
up.
mentality.
Nathan
We'd have
is
a lot more
like
chairs that way.
Right?
Nathan's one of those chocolate flavored Pop Tarts where you take one bite and you're like, this is pretty good. And then you take a second bite and you're like, oh, this is too much. And you take that third bite and you puke. That's Nathan. Great in small doses. But if you just, you don't need a 2-pack. You don't even need a full Pop Tart. You just need one bite and you're set for Nathan.
All right, so we're halfway through. We've got Jed, Brittany, Josh, Roger, Nathan.
What
already
did you
said
say Brittany was? I said Brittany's brown sugar cinnamon because that's my favorite Pop Tart.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's your favorite Pop Tart?
I had something, but I'm definitely not going to say that out loud.
Was it toaster strudel because you get to put your own icing on it? It's okay. They're married.
Oh,
It's okay in
gosh.
God's eyes.
Oh, no. No. Daniel is a Pop-Tart that you take it and the packaging has been opened by someone else.
Yeah.
So it's just old and disgusting and moldy and
And you don't have a toaster,
But
so
you
you
know
have to
what?
microwave it.
no, you just eat it anyway because it's a Pop-Tart.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And
I'm
usually you knew you were going to be let down anyway. So your expectations were just tempered going in. So it wasn't nearly as bad as you thought it was going to be.
I'm so glad I put the noose up before this. Just go home and jump right in that thing.
You're like the Pop Tart where you open it up and it's just like sawdust in the Pop Tart.
It's so old. It's just like
it just falls, it crumples in your hand, and then you take a bite out of the middle, and it's somehow hard as a rock, and you're just like, shoot. So you take a hammer, you break it up a little bit, and you sprinkle it on some ice cream and make the best out of it. And you haven't found your ice cream in life yet because you're lonely.
Jess is Pop-Tart cereal
Okay.
because she's bite size
Yeah.
and it's
Better with milk.
It's pretty good. It's all right. But then it's definitely degraded by the fact that it's so much better than its counterpart, aka her husband.
Yeah.
That it's just like, oh God, why do I waste my money on this?
It's like you pour the cereal into the bowl and go into the fridge to get the milk, and all you've got is Sunny Delight. That's what Jess and Jed are like together. Is
Big
Sunny
sad.
Delight into Pop-Tart.
Brittany to
cereal.
me is remember like, I don't know, we might have been in like the 5th grade. I mean, Daniel probably only 120 years old at that point
Yeah.
in time. Like the wild berry Pop-Tart that's like
I do
purple
like
with the
that.
light blue like wavy
I
streak
think they
on
still
it.
make that.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's what Brittany is to me because when you bite into it, it hurts your teeth. And And you think it's going to be sweet, but she's just evil and save me.
Do you, oh man!
So we've got
When you were making Sloan, did you bite into Brittany and hurt your teeth?
That is confidential information.
Okay. All right. Who we got left?
you two and Bruce.
All right. Bruce is like
Bruce
a
is-
rice cake.
No, Bruce is
This
like
is a rice cake.
no. Bruce is one of those Nature Valley
Nutrigrain bars.
Nutrigrain
Yeah.
bars where you open it up and it's just always just a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Bruce.
Yeah. No, I
He's
agree.
not even Pop-Tart worthy.
rice cake. It's a rice cake when you don't even have like peanut butter.
Yeah, he's like Rain on a good hair day.
I hate you. Josiah.
What am I? I don't want to make myself. I'm a cold Pop-Tart.
Yeah, you're just
feel like
a
just-
cold. You're a cold fruit Pop-Tart because
Yeah.
you're old reliable. You could just go to the fridge. You could grab it. You're consistent in fantasy football. You're a consistent flavor that's always good. But also, whenever you expect it, you go and you heat it up. Your edges are burnt and crispy, and you're just like this and chuck it in the trash
Yeah.
can.
Well, that makes sense.
Go and get another one.
Yeah, I could take a good like strawberry, blueberry, like. I guess since I don't have a brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart, I guess I'll eat this one. But
I don't even get that.
Terrorist.
I don't.
And I am obviously butter on a Pop-Tart because it's so freaking good.
Oh man. Oh, did we not
If
make
you-
you?
Oh, I've never had that. Like
I haven't either. I just watch Family Guy sometimes.
You are the Pop-Tart that you put in the toaster, and then you go and start to do something, and then the toaster doesn't pop back up, and then it catches on fire. And you're like
It's literally like my
and it was
butthole
your
every
last
morning.
fucking Pop-Tart.
the last one, and your last toaster as well. And you know what? Your last house, because it burnt down, and you're just,
I got mad at my toaster the other day and threw it in the trash can.
oh.
What did your toaster do to you?
It was really dirty.
So you didn't clean it?
No, I got mad at it because it's my fault, and obviously I'm not accepting blame for that, so I threw it away.
Because by that logic, you would have just thrown yourself away.
Got married. It should have been clean.
Fair.
I clean the toilets. She cleans the kitchen. All right.
You
Honestly, that's a fair with 5 kids or 4 kids, three kids that you can use the toilet, and then
That's why the toilets are always full in this house.
yeah.
Michael cleans them.
You also got to account for the studio toilet, which probably gets more abuse than any of the toilets
That's
upstairs.
so true.
Big facts.
Especially since Michael will use this one because it's a lot more. It's the only bathroom in the house with ample leg room.
I come down here when we're watching football. I come down
Oh yeah,
here.
you'll
spread
disappear
out.
forever down here.
Dude, I'll come and watch TV down here to watch the Steelers game while you
Yeah.
guys are watching the Cowboys game or something.
Studio is a great space. You can rent it for $25 an hour.
Hey,
All proceeds go to Daniel's News Fund.
you don't even have to
have
record a
4
podcast. You can just sit here and watch TV. We've got cable.
Big true.
It's like it's like most of you going to local shows where you pay $5 to get in, but you sit at the bar and don't watch the bands. You can do it here,
Yeah.
except for there's no crazy music in the background, just
You
a
have to
howling dog.
Bring
If
your
you
own
want,
beer.
I'll sing. That's fine. Anyway,
Don't turn on the air conditioner or heater without permission.
Yes,
also true.
or while you're recording,
Yikes.
unless you have Fab Filter.
Do we have anything else to talk about?
Yeah, league standings and playoff brackets.
Oh,
Let's-
man.
let's do this. All right, so we'll just run down the top 5 here because the rest of them don't matter. Number 1, Hover Around Genocide in first place at 9-3. Number 2, The Wrath of Quan at 8-4. Number 3, Unsolicited DAC Picks at 9-3 because of points. I'm still beating Josiah by 45 points.
If I would have started Jarvis Landry instead
If you would've.
of Cortland Sutton, like I probably should have, I would have been plus 25 points at least, and I would only be down by
Just a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Then tied for 4th place, we've got Team King Dingus, 6-6, and the Chosen One Michael at 6-6. Now, the rest of them don't matter.
They're all eliminated.
Yep.
We'll talk about the consolation bracket in its own episode.
Yep. Once we get to the playoffs. So the playoff bracket right now, if it were to end today, I would be playing against Josh, and Josiah would be playing against Nathan, and Michael would be playing against Jed in the consolation ladder. So, Michael...
Josh has the tiebreaker right now.
No, Josh has like 100 more points.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I mean. He has the tiebreaker right now between him and Michael, but they're playing each other,
Yeah.
so that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Unless they tie.
So,
Crap.
team funeral, moment of silence, anything like that. Obviously, Jed, Jess, and Brittany are now officially out of the playoffs.
Can we bury Brittany in her own grave? Because I don't want to have to dig up the other two.
Yeah.
Why are you digging up a grave? It's disgusting.
We can put Brittany...
Toast strudel.
She has her own mausoleum.
That's fine.
She's got like a pyramid.
Yeah, she made a good comeback, but just couldn't finish it off.
Big true.
She did have a very tough schedule at the end of the last three
With all the
games.
bye weeks right down the stretch,
Yeah,
too.
and she had to play me. She had to play
Me.
you,
Yeah.
and then she played Roger, and then now she's out, even though she beat Roger.
Come on, consolation bracket.
All right.
Can't stress enough how much I love putting Jed and Jess in the grave together.
Dude,
At least
it's
you
so
died
nice.
together.
Figuratively, we didn't actually kill you. But D&D kinda has all kinds of deaths in it. If you just want to flip over to that podcast, you can listen to Jed get tortured there. Okay.
Yes, and join the Discord because a lot more of it happens there.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get on to next week's matchups. Oh God, I almost pulled off my headphones. At the top here, I have Hover Around Genocide, myself taking on Roger, Injured Reserve. This is a replay of an earlier game where I also just went off and destroyed him. Right now, it's projected at 126.1 to 109.8. As we know, I've been putting up close to my projections, and Roger is getting about 30 points less than his projections. So,
I hate that you're playing Roger for your last week.
I pick you to win and pick you handily. This is only important to whether or not you are the first seed, or if I win and you lose, you are the third seed.
Yep.
So
it all this next week for me and Josiah just really kind of it just whoever wins, or if you beat me in points, it's all about who we play in the playoffs.
yeah. So that's completely what this is about. And I don't think we need to really break it down as closely as we have in weeks past, just because you're projected to win by over 20 points, and that's if Roger even has a team show up, which he often doesn't.
And it's like the last game of the season, knowing that your team is already secured a playoff spot. It's just pointless. Like, I might put in all my backups just to see how they do, just like they do in the regular season. Like, I'll throw Matt Ryan in there, see how he does.
Ah, man, you want to go for that seed. It's like you always do.
Great. But do I want to lose on purpose so I don't have to play you or Josh? And I guaranteed to play Nathan, who hasn't been doing too well? Or do I win big and know that I've got to play the toughest team heading into the playoffs?
I've thought about this because I'm playing Jess, and it's not that far-fetched that she could beat me.
She could beat you. Yeah.
And I would be guaranteed to play Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I win and you lose or I outscore you, then I would be either playing Josh or Michael, who, I mean, has
Isn't that scary, though? Because you don't know which...
That's what I mean.
I'd rather play Michael than Josh.
I'd rather play you just because of how well Josh's team has been doing, and I'd rather play Nathan than either of you. But also, I am a firm believer that if I tank this game on purpose in order to play Nathan, I am guaranteed to lose.
Yeah.
So I will not do that. And I mean, I know we skipped from my game to your game, but we are in the same situation where I'm playing Jess, you're playing Roger. It's more likely that Jess's team just comes out and actually straight up beats me.
Roger's team has done that too.
Yeah.
He put up 150 points a few weeks ago whenever he was all high and mighty. Then he started putting up
either way
80 ducks here and
the
there.
story behind these two games is next week when we come and sit down and see when we talk about that next week.
Your team, your game is next. So we can just knock them both out.
Yeah, I just did.
So, yeah. And right now, you're projected to win 121.5 over her 114.2. But like you said, I mean, she's got Kyler Murray. She's got Michael Thomas. Kyler Murray's coming off his bye.
If she put Kyler Murray in, she would only be projected to lose by a total of 4 points. And I think, then she puts Hunter Henry in over Tyler Eifert. She's projected to beat me, just straight up beat me. So what I'm looking for in this game, Russell Wilson to get back on track and nobody to get hurt. That's all I care about, because even if DeAndre Hopkins is facing New England, Thielen is facing Seattle, I've got some stiff matchups, but I've also got some easy ones. I don't really care. I want to make it out healthy. I want to see my team do well. Next game.
Let's go ahead and
Bruce.
Yeah, let's just the next two games. We got Bruce versus Nathan, VH Lupa Batman versus
Nathan
the Wrath of Quan.
Will be the 3rd seed whether he wins or loses.
Yeah, it's the same.
Bruce
deal.
will be the 10th seed whether he wins or loses.
And then after that, we've got Bald Bear Fighter and Brittany. I mean, none of these games, like now that we're locked into the playoffs, like these teams that are at the bottom, like we'll get to those like later.
I'm not sure 100%, but if Brittany loses to Jed this week, is there any chance that Roger could jump her? And that would be the importance between Jed and Brittany. I don't know the math behind that. She has one more win than Roger at least.
Depending on the points, Roger's only like if
if
Brittany
Roger beats you,
loses and Roger wins, they're only 9 points apart.
Okay, so that's the importance of that game between Jed and Brittany.
So Roger needs to put up the points, and Brittany needs if Brittany loses, Roger needs just 9 more points, and he would be on top of Brittany for the consolation bracket, and that would put Brittany down into the bottom 2.
Yeah, and which she would be guaranteed to get at least the 2nd or 3rd pick. But if you have a chance at the 1st pick,
unless somebody else, no, because everybody else is at least 100 points ahead of her.
Yeah.
So
All right, so to the game of the week, the feature game, the one that Tony Romo will be calling, Josh, Team King Dingus versus Michael, the chosen one. Josh, what do you think about this game?
I can almost guarantee you that if he was here, his input would have been less valuable than that.
I completely agree.
He
Michael
just squirmed in his chair and broke another one. All right.
Michael, what do you think about this game? This is it for you. Is Jacoby Brissett going to do it for you?
I have put in a waiver claim for a new quarterback.
Okay.
I don't think I won't get this quarterback though.
Is it Ryan Tannehill, who's just been going crazy?
He has been doing well.
He's put up a shitload of points. He's done so well.
But no, I agree. Your quarterback is your weakest position, so that's smart of you.
Especially with Aaron Rodgers on Josh's team going against the Giants.
Aaron Rodgers could potentially do well, and then also Jameis Winston versus Jacksonville, who have not been doing great, especially after they traded their best cornerback away. So as far as matchup go right now, Aaron Rodgers, I think, scores more points than Jacoby Brissett.
Oh yeah.
So that's interesting.
Maybe.
I've been looking at this a lot actually. So I think that I think Josh Watt, if everything is as it is right now in the app, which are some changes I'm sure will happen, I think Aaron Rodgers outscores Brissett. I think Ingram. I actually think Elliott will probably outscore Ingram this week.
Yeah, against San Francisco's defense, yeah.
Buffalo is a stiff matchup, though.
The Todd Gurley,
but their run defense isn't the greatest.
Yeah,
and
the Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon matchup kind of scares me because Melvin Gordon's going up against Denver. Here's the thing: Denver's so up and down that you just can't really tell what's going on there.
Yeah,
and they're playing in Denver, which is always bad for. It's just the high altitude is tough on players sometimes. So
this is also interesting because you drafted Todd Gurley, he drafted Ezekiel Elliott, he also drafted Melvin Gordon. So your 2 starting running backs right now were on his team at one point.
Well, I need them to show up and show that they're better.
Michael Gallup versus Buffalo could be big for you because their top corner is going to be on Cooper.
Yeah, he already pulled Diggs back onto his lineup, so he's obviously paying attention. DJ Moore, I don't really trust that. He might
Washington.
he might get a few more targets, but obviously I think against Washington that I think McCaffrey's going to see the majority of the workload there.
I think
Praise be to McCaffrey.
between the receivers, I think
bench him this week.
he has the advantage, and you also have the decision to make. Do I start Keenan Allen? Do I start Cooper Kupp? Do I start Michael Gallup? Who out of those three, or even AJ Green potentially coming back, do you take that risk? So you have two. I think you start the flex position with a running back, but the two receivers that you have a decision to make. Which two do you start out of the four potential people?
Now that Cooks is back and Robert Woods isn't taking a family day, a personal day,
That's
it
true.
leaves Cooper Kupp open more. And against Arizona, is Patrick Peterson out for the season? Because I know he got hurt a few weeks back, but
He's
don't
been one of
know.
those guys that's just kind of disappeared this year with injury and kind of just not wanting to waste himself, I guess, because he's one of those that wanted to be traded as far as rumors go. But I don't think Peterson's covering Cooper Kupp exclusively.
Probably not, but
just because of the weapons they have in that offense.
Yeah, but with Reynolds and Cooks and Woods, Cooper Kupp could see it. He could have a
banking on
40-point game. Yeah, he could, but it's hard to tell.
I think this game is going to be decided by the running backs. I really do, and also the Godwin situation. You know, if he has another 30 or 40-point game, that's that's definitively going to shove me in the dirt. I think Stephon Diggs will look to make a big comeback. So that's something I got to be worried about.
Seattle's defense has been playing pretty well. I mean, they played against Philly last week, but they've actually been, they've been better than they were earlier in the year. So
I do think I'll have them on defense though, because I don't think San Francisco's offense is very strong, but they don't turn the ball over a lot. So Garoppolo's getting a lot better about his short passing game, not taking those big risks, and especially near the closeouts of the games not that
and
he's
the goal
had
line,
to.
where he's been throwing a lot of interceptions this year in the red zone.
Yeah, they have stepped up their running game, and the offensive line has really put up. So I'm confident in that matchup, my defense versus his defense. And the kickers, it is what it is. I'm watching the Keenan Allen, Michael Gallup situation pretty closely.
Yeah, and then your biggest advantage normally is Giovanni Kittle versus whichever tight end that they start. But Kittle versus Baltimore or Waller versus Kansas City, I feel like that diminishes your advantage. You're probably still going to outscore him, but it's not inconceivable. I mean, who knows? The Jets just absolutely crushed.
That's
Raiders.
The thing about this tight end position is, Waller is a very good tight end, and a lot of his catches stay within that tight end spot. Kittle often pulls the Gronkowski and rolls out as a wide receiver, which every time he does, that has been. How many touchdowns does Kittle have this year? Let me see here.
He has a ton.
He has one. Yeah, he only has 3 actually.
He's had more than that called back for penalties. Though.
That is true.
Point being is that I think the one in the the Cleveland game and the one in the Green Bay game, both of those were wide out. So catching those in the near the end zone when they're 30, 40 yards back.
The nice thing about the fact that he's got Darren Waller is that if Kansas City comes out and destroys them like the Jets do, John Gruden just benches all of his starters. That's what he did last week. He benched Josh Jacobs. He benched Derek Carr. Everybody. All of his starters, he just benched them. He was like, live to fight another day. Don't want any unnecessary injuries. But I'm not saying it's going to happen.
That game,
but
Oakland, Kansas City, that's a
huge
big rivalry.
It is.
So.
Yeah, but the fact that Kansas City had a bye, they're a game up, and Raiders needed that win to this game is a big game, and it's played in Kansas City at Arrowhead.
Normally, when you have Kittle, you're plus 10 in the tight end position. In this game, with your defensive matchup, I think you're probably more like a plus 5 in the tight end position. Your flex position, Stephon Diggs facing Seattle. I mean, of course, Diggs can go off and do whatever he wants any game, but you have Williams versus Tennessee, who
Tennessee's got a pretty sneaky good defense.
they do have a good defense, but also if Williams is getting the touches, then I feel like he's a solid 10-point play there, which is all you need from your flex position. The New England versus Baltimore matchup is interesting because Houston's
been kind of on a decline.
Houston-
They won
For
last
sure.
week, but they're not playing how they typically have been playing.
Well, they have come out in a few weeks. They've come out a couple weeks and absolutely look like the best team in the NFL offensively, unstoppable. And then they'll come out the next week, and you think, "Oh my goodness, this is bad." Like they're really struggling. Their offensive line is terrible. They don't have enough time. They have too many injured receivers. Do they have a strong running game? Is Watson able to stay healthy just because they have no offensive line? So I think that even though New England is most likely going to score points, it's not completely out of the realm of possibilities that Houston shows up because it's a big game. They want to show up and prove themselves. Baltimore, San Francisco, I think that Baltimore hangs like a solid 8 because that game, I don't see that being a 40-6 blowout in either side of things. I
It's
see
either
that
gonna
being
be
like
super high scoring. It's probably going to be like 35 to
I see that being like more like a
3.
I don't know, like a 13-9 kind of game.
I don't know. I think both offenses are going to run through the opposing defense.
You think so?
I do.
See, I think that.
I do.
I mean, even then, I still think that game's going to be closer to where it's.
I think it's going to be the closest. It's just a battle of defenses
It's the
and
same-
a low power. Or,
High-powered offense.
yeah.
Yeah, but then Prater versus Gay. That's just. I mean, you kind of have the advantage there because yours is facing Jacksonville. his is
you
facing
got to
Chicago.
think at San Francisco. Well, look what San Francisco's defense did to Green Bay, and Green Bay doesn't have like a high-powered offense like the Ravens, but San Francisco's defense doing that to Green Bay, and then everything was going in my head and I got all confused. Anyway.
Are you okay?
Green Bay's defense was supposed to be really, really good, decent anyway. And
They just started the year well.
And then San Francisco went out and did that to them. So I think that San Francisco could do the same to the Baltimore defense. They're more physical, I feel like, but I
They're
think
just a team
San
of punks.
Francisco can.
That whole team is a bunch of gangsters.
I think if I had to pick with this roster, this matchup as it is, I think Josh has the advantage. I don't even know what the official matchup.
51% win probability for Josh. They're only within 2 points of each other.
-2.
So, I think Josh has the advantage just based on matchups right now for both teams, and I think that the way that Michael could swing this in his favor, he already has confessed that he is looking for someone to play because quarterback has been his weak position. Nick Foles at Tampa Bay, Trubisky at Detroit. He's got Devlin Hodges, quack, going against Cleveland. Andy Dalton is been named
Back.
the starter again.
The Red Rocket.
So, I mean, there's people out there. You mentioned Tannehill. Whoever's playing Cincinnati, I think it's the Jets this week. Sam Darnold versus the Jets. And not the Jets, Cincinnati. That could also be a potential play. So there are 5 or 6 quarterbacks that could potentially give Michael 20 points, which I think, Michael, when's the last time your QB scored 20 points in a game?
I haven't had a QB score 20 points
So,
this year. That's not a joke.
Last year is the last time.
That's not even a joke.
So
I got 36 this week.
yeah,
Shut up.
mine only got 9, but I
I got
still
me
won.
46 in the Yahoo League.
That is true.
Yeah. You had Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. So
Thank God for auto draft.
he crushed me. He deleted me from the playoff contention in that league. Which,
good, man.
yeah, I have other leagues that I'm in, and I'm really good at all of them except the one I'm actually the commissioner of. I am in first, or with the tiebreaker, you're in first in this league. But in every other league, I'm first except for the one I'm in charge of, which is I'm like 12th out of 14.
I'm taking myself to win against Josh. I believe in myself. I believe in my team. I think I can pull it off.
I think if you get I listed, I don't know how many QBs. If you get the right one on the right day, like let's say you pick up Andy Dalton, for example, and he goes out and throws 17 interceptions, awful. But if he goes out and throws like a normal Andy Dalton 250 yards-ish game, maybe 2 touchdowns to Boyd, then you're looking at least he would not lose you the game where your quarterback has lost you some games. So I think that's the big thing. And then also do his receivers show up next week? Because your running back situation, even though you both have great running backs, they could end up canceling each other out. I already mentioned I think your tight ends are probably going to cancel each other out. Everyone's going to cancel each other out except for quarterback. It should be interesting. I will be watching this closely. In fact,
I will not be.
We should maybe post score updates on our social media.
For our game?
Yeah, for it's the playoffs.
I won't be doing anything on social media on Thursday during those games.
Oh, no.
It's Thanksgiving. I'm going to be fat and happy, and I'm going to be watching the Cowboys
I'm just saying.
play the
I'm just
Bills.
saying.
I'm going to be fat but not happy.
Go follow Wasted Local Talent on Facebook or wherever else we are
Instagram.
on social Instagram.
Wasted Local Talent.
We promote our interviews with our actual talent, and then hey, we might sneak in some bonus content of some scores
Yes.
down the stretch. And I know people listen to the show. I'm not entirely sure why. We love it, but
Yeah.
thanks. We appreciate it.
Yeah, check out all of our other podcasts too. D&D Kinda,
We already mentioned, which is fantastic.
Video Game Mythos. I think this Thursday on Thanksgiving, there's a Red Dead Redemption episode,
Interesting.
which should be just fantastic.
I know. I see your eyes. You're not a fan of Red Dead Redemption, but there's a lot of people that are.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a lot of people that listen to this might be really excited. Ryan Wilfong's going to be running point on that one.
And Gurus of Gaming.
The Gears of Gaming, which we talked about the Google Stadia. We talked about some esports awards last week. I don't know what we're talking about this
Prematurely
week.
talked about the Game Awards.
Well, it was not my decision. But I think, we're going forward, depending on the holidays, we'll have another episode coming out Monday. Maybe, who knows? We're figuring that out. But that's a
Also,
great episode.
If you're going to be
Great
at Steel
con-
City Con,
Who?
13 Palm Trees is going to have a booth up there. That's next weekend, right, Michael?
6th, 7th, and the 8th.
6th, 7th, and 8th of December. They'll be up there.
We're definitively the largest celebrities there, of course.
Oh, yeah.
However,
Yeah.
there will be people there from Lord of the Rings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have heard of Lord of the Rings, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If
I've never heard of it.
If you're over 30, gosh. But Michael just brought down before we recorded the podcast a whole box of merchandise, which you can find on the store. What's that website? Hit it over.
13palmtrees.com/merch.
Go buy a Wasted shirt, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, go buy a Wasted
They're
shirt.
$12. They're soft.
If you see someone at Steel City Con, if you go to Steel City Con, he was unpacking some dice. If you like
Lots of dice.
if you
Skull
like
splitters.
T-shirts, if you like stickers, we have so many stickers over there. But yeah, we got a bunch of stuff.
Buttons.
Buttons.
Buy our shit, dumbass.
Buy our shit. Buy it all. 13palmtrees.com/store. Maybe.
Maybe.
It might just go there and click on the store tab. That's a lot easier than
There's nowhere else that has a 13 palm trees tag. Just Google it.
Yeah.
You'll find us.
yeah.
There
except
might be
for-
some travel agency or something, but I can
the
guarantee
closest
our
is the
merch better than
DoubleTree
theirs.
Hotel. But there's only 2 and not 13.
We're about 11 away.
What was it in the last episode? Is it pine trees?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, because they were actually pine trees. It's like, shit, got to rename the company.
Because we're here year round.
Did you listen to the
Evergreens.
most recent episode of D&D?
I have yet to listen to that, and it's just because
It's a all-out comedy slugfest.
I
It's
saw-
back to
Pretty
the
good.
original roots of the
There's
show.
still a lot of story, and well, not like super big progression, but there's just a lot of really
I
fucked up
saw
shit.
where Nathan in the group chat today said that he's glad he was listening to it, not in public, because
It's one of those
You know.
episodes.
It has an explicit tag, so you should have
It's there for a
should have
reason.
known that.
So, yep.
Well, I think that's. Did we cover everything this week? Roger, you're the loser. Wait, no. Sorry. We did that already.
Yeah, we've done that for the past 10 weeks.
But what is he in fantasy football?
Oh, yeah.
Also, the loser.
Eliminated.
You're almost eliminated from contention. So you
I
better
don't
get your shit together.
necessarily know how to end this podcast.